Hi. Um, Today I have this urge to simply make a simple, concise video addressing the question of the tariffs, addressing related subjects. Now, first of all, let's start. I already told you what a tariff is over and over and over again, but I will tell it again. A tariff is a tax you place on goods you import from a certain country. So, if you, for example, impose a tariff of 20% on goods from the European Union into the United Kingdom, sorry, I was making another video, into the US, in practical terms, the terms we all can understand when we reach our hands into our pockets and pay, means that if you were paying $100 for a product, you now will be paying $120. Good luck. Because if they apply a profit tax to it, a tax, what is this? What is this that I'm calling it profit tax? It means to make it worth to import the goods. So they will put some extra to make it worth for them to have this trouble of trying to sell you the product you bought at 100 euro, $100, sorry, for 120 now. So it will probably be 200. Not kidding. I was also a businessman, more or less, let's just say it this way, family business. So I understand, and I did accounting, so I understand how these things works and how some companies work because you have to understand this. A company is not there to give you a service, a company or a good. A company is there to sell you things. And by selling those things, they must pay off their costs and they have to earn enough profit to make it worth. So, if I, for example, import a product and it has cost me 120 euros, I am not going to sell it to you for 120 euros. I'm going to sell that product to you for 360 euros, meaning I will cover my costs and the other 120 is my profit. That is the only thing you can play with when you're in the business. You can lower it a bit to earn market shares, to captivate customers, to create a base of customers, but you really cannot pay the play that much with it. Okay, this is simple business. You can ask any businessman in the area. Just go talk if you if they are willing to tell you that. You can talk with your local grocer or something like that, and you will know it's this way. Okay, that is why some businesses are able to sell you cheaper goods. They are not selling you cheaper goods. They are selling you goods with a lower profit margin. Sometimes they even go for a period of time in a loss in order to get that market share in the same breath, let's just say, the same move, also steal, not stealing what you understand what I'm trying to say, market shares to their competitors that are unable to sustain their business and many times are driven off business. Okay, now, so when your president, Americans, tells you that this is a tax that is going to fill our coffers, no, he's going to fill the coffers with your taxes. And if you tell me You don't care the market is crashing because it will only affect rich people. No, it will affect more those people from the middle income or even the low income, those people that buy a couple of shares to earn a couple of dollars every month or every week or whatever, and then they grab that money and they put it in a savings account. It's not going to affect the rich, because if a rich person, for example, has $10 million to invest in the market, it can that person can lose them. They might go to troubles, of course. They might have to change their life standards. Perhaps instead of vacation in Mexico, they will vacation inside the US or whatever. Instead of sending their kids to a university in Switzerland, no, they will send it to a cheaper place like the UK, for example, or even inside of the US. But you have to understand this. You, maybe you're just a guy driving a bus or something like that. You barely earn enough to keep yourself and your family, and you think, good, good, this is happening. That will teach those rich bastards. No, it won't. It won't, because they will have enough money. They will buy off property. They will be richer than they are now. The big sharks will be richer. They will buy off businesses. They will buy off uh, real estate. They will buy off the public services the government is giving to the private companies. They will buy them off, and then they will set the prices and they will do whatever they want. And you will shut up and eat it, because you will have to, because you need to eat, you need to feed yourself, feed your family. That is what is called unregulated capitalism. Because over here, we also have capitalism. And me, personally, I agree with capitalism. I don't agree with obscene wealth without paying obscene taxes. I don't believe in a system that does not provide services to those of us that are either because we are dumbasses, or because we are simply unlucky, or because we are simply sick or whatever, cannot afford those services. So I have no issues in the state taking a part of my taxes and helping those people, even if some of them don't deserve it. You know, because you see, around here we have a society that is based on Christian ethics, and I won't go into this because it would be a 2 hour video or more. We also have pagan ethics, communal ethics, that are born of the necessity and that has been ingrained in our societies. And you should also have it, because when you went to the Americas, you took it with you. But unfortunately, you took the entitlement, the, I don't know, the kind of an inferiority complex, unjustified inferiority complex, that you transform into this urge of appearing to be superior to others when you're just the same. We're all the same, my friend. But carry on. Let's talk about economics, and let's leave philosophy and social matters to another occasion. Now, and then, if you see the speech of the American government, first they were laughing, meaning your president was laughing, and his court was clapping and whatever, but laughing, happy, Freedom Day or whatever he called it. Then he was threatening, you better do what I want or else. Then he was begging, You didn't hear it? I heard it. Like, and now it didn't work. So now they go back to resort to their old tactics of trying to be the bully. And you will have contained answers, you will have silent boycotts, and you will have, instead of one country waiting for the opportunity to stab you, you will have hundreds. You will see your companies decrease in value. You will see some companies merging in order to sustain the hit. You will see others being dismantled and sold. You might see an increase in manufacturing in your country, yes. But do you think anyone will invest in a country with such a volatile government? And more than that, you will lose your stand in the world. Uh, I'm talking in the future when I should be talking in the past. You lost your stand in the world. No? You are even less trustworthy than China. And China are sneaky negotiators. But if you're honest with them, they are usually, not always, honest back. Especially if they see that you are strong, that you don't take bullshit. How is the Trump ceasefire in Ukraine going? Is everyone listening to him? No attack on power grids, no attack on hospitals, no killing civilians in Kyiv. No one gave a shit about what he was talking about. And the tour of pressure of the Maltese cross guy drunk around Europe served nothing. It only annoyed people more. The USA won't see a cent of the weapon procurement in Europe. The USA will be silently boycotted by Europe. Let me illuminate you. First of all, a lot of companies, especially German and French, are producing things in your country, providing jobs to your people. Maybe they will just shut down those companies and invest their money elsewhere. For example, if Brazil tells, I don't know, Volkswagen, they tell them, look, come here, build your cars here, and I will give you better conditions. The EU now has an agreement, trade agreement, with Mercosur. Go Google it if you don't know what it is. The EU has just concluded an agreement with the Central Asian countries. The EU has agreements with a lot of countries in Africa, in Asia, with China, Korea, Japan, Indonesia, Thailand, want me to continue? India, because this is what we do. Connections, business, and they know that if we commit to something, we do it. We don't have volatile governments because we are a, an association of countries. It's like a club with rules. This is what is happening. And where you now, for example, stop US aid, another one will take over. And being honest, pragmatic, I would tell you that about 60% of those empty places will be taken over by China. and 40% for by the EU and other competitors, like your northern neighbor, Canada, and I even see Mexico rising up in the scale of economic power. Mexico has a lot of promise. If it's able to organize itself, you will be working in Mexico. You will be crossing the border to work in a couple of years. But the only person that doesn't see it is you. Now, Mr. Trump is crashing the market on purpose in order to devaluate the currency. Okay. Do you think the debt is going away? You really think that? You don't think it will stay there, but you will have less wealth to repay it. You will have less services, less, less infrastructures, less investment, and you will have something that I call opportunistic investment. Investment. That means anyone that thinks that they can make a buck in the USA and then siphon the wealth out and leave you to hanging out to dry will do it. And I can't understand why you are bickering amongst yourselves instead of seeing this. And instead of simply addressing your Congress, addressing everyone you can, and say, stop this madness. I don't see it. For less than that, people would be on the streets over here in Europe. They would be on the streets in China. And China is very worried about that. Believe me, because China has a lot of issues too. But at least they are honest, they recognize them, and they attempt to take care of it. But you don't. This is just what I had to say. A short video. No. What can I say more? How can I explain to you that? I'll try. Again, imagine this. He says, I'm devaluing the market, I'm crashing the market because I want to make it cheaper. In this way, we'll be able to produce cheaper and this and that. Do you know what producing cheaper means? Means lower lower wages for you, even lower rights, and the amount of wealth you supposedly will get, it won't erase the debt. It will stay there. That debt will be still owned by someone. But it might not be worth anything, but someone will continue to own that debt. And when you say, I am going to pay, all right, if your dollar, for example, was worth, I don't know, imagine that someone had $500 of debt. When you crash it, it turns into 500 million of that. Did you not see those old movies, documentaries explaining what happened to Germany when people went about with packs of coins and of paper money to buy a loaf of bread? Or what is happening in Venezuela, where the immigrants from Venezuela that go to the countries next door, like Colombia and whatever, they take their money from Venezuela and then they make artisan pieces of arts and crafts with it and sell it on the street to earn some money because the money is worthless. That is what will happen to the dollar. And Europe owns a lot of your debt. So does China and a lot of countries in the world. And what is your president doing? Golfing with the Saudis. Doesn't care. And this situation in Gaza is going to come back and bite you all in the arse. To you in America and to the Israelis. Oh, yes, call me an anti Semite if you want. I don't care. Because I have no issues with people of the Jewish faith. None at all. Like I said in another video, they have their imaginary friend. And I have explained myself about this, so I won't explain myself about it again. But what you have to understand here is this. This is not how economics works. You cannot erase the debt by crashing an economy. When you crash an economy, the debt increases. The costs increase. The inability of providing public services increases exponentially. And since you have been firing a lot of people that are increasing the number of employers, what do you think? Do you think someone will open shops in your country, open manufacturers, and you all will work? I think you have that idea, no? You have that childish, that infantile idea that I cannot understand that way of thinking. But I mean, who do I know? Just today, some person called me Mr. Economics, just because that I told her that I had 3 years in economics and law. I didn't graduate because I needed to get to work to sustain myself and family members, because I needed to eat. These hands have been working like a man's hands since I was about 12. Yes, working class, broadly. Even the side of my family that is noble, let's call it like that. I even have a count in my family line. Hmm? Even those, they worked. They worked because that is the ethics of work. I go to work when I'm sick. I go to work when I'm not in myself. I go to work because I need to work and because we must do it. And your problem is that your minds are worried with things that make no sense. You continue to try to justify a situation that is not justifiable. It is not justifiable. It is justifiable, for example, if, like I said in another video, I think if Mr. Trump came up and said, look, we need to restructure the entire the federal government, we need to concentrate services, we need to do this, we need to do that, so that we can do this and do that. That would be perfectly justifiable. Because I'm sure that, like in other states, like the state where I live in, there are a lot of things that can be simply erased, but erased according to the law. And he is just the executive branch, not the courts, not the legislative. But you conveniently seem to forget that. Right now, with the protests, for example, what I am hearing is that people, to know about the protests, they had to see the news outside the US. If that does not tell you you are living in a semi authoritarian regime, what will? When one day some guy or girl, I don't know, dressed in black with a swastika or some equivalent in the cap goes to your house, slaps you around, takes you to an re-education camp because you complained about the price of eggs. Will that make it for you? Because that was look, my friend, in a matter of in less than 3 years, that is what happened to Germany, and Germany was a more evolved country than you lot are now. In the 1930s, it was a poor country because of the depression. Yes, it was, but people were more educated and people were more understanding. I beg your pardon, of the world, the situation of their country than you are. I won't say anything more. Not worth it. I have to stop and spending my energy in this, reduce it perhaps to a video per week about this specific subject. Just let it fester. It will fester like a wound. But it's sad, you know. I watched the Berlin Wall fall when I was a kid with my dad, when he was still alive. And he told me, I never in my entire life believed I would see this. And my mother and my grandfather, they also didn't believe it was happening. It happened. It happened in months. As quick as something is built, as quick it can fall. And you are falling and you don't see it. When I see lunatics justifying these actions as he has a plan, Hitler also had a plan. Stalin also had a plan. Putin also has a plan. They all have a plan. You want to know what that plan is? You want to know? You want me to tell you? I will tell you. Their plan is to continue to justify their egos on your back. You are pawns in their movie. They don't care about you because instead of governing you, they want and they are ruling you. Not even a king does that. But a dictator, yes, it does. He does. And probably no one will listen to me. Probably no one will even care. But at least I would have spoken. Sorry, will have spoken to the universe and say my piece because I think these words are necessary, and not speaking about it would be to betray my own ethics and my own principles. Whatever. All of you in America, good luck.